Okay, today we are going to draw Derpy. Derpy is the tiger from K-Pop Demon Hunters. He is a Korean tiger that there actually is a historical tiger in Korean art history that is like the Derpy tiger. And so that's what we're going to draw today. It's actually a real character in history, the tiger and the magpie. But today we're just going to draw the tiger. So his head, I'm going to draw him in like in kind of a cartoony way. And I have a rectangle here, and I'm holding it vertically, portrait ways. And I want to map it out so that his head takes up almost half of the paper. And then his body takes up the bottom half of the paper. So I'm going to start by drawing the shape of his head. A lot of people start and just start to draw just too small right in the middle of their paper. And they just have this little tiny guy. And then you're like, what do I do with the rest of the paper? It's better to draw bigger so that you have more space to add all the details you want. So that's why I'm going to start with the shape of the head. So like I said, the head is going to take up the top half, and then the body's going to take up the bottom half. So I'm going to just be working in the top half for right now. So I'm just going to imagine there's a line here across the middle. I could fold my paper, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to imagine there's a line there. And so I'm just going to draw a little tiny dot where I want his chin to be. And then, so that's where his chin's going to be. So I'm just going to draw a line right where that dot is. That's his chin. And then I'm going to go over here, and I want to put all the way over here where I want the outside of his cheek to be. It's going to be like here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side because I want his face to be pretty symmetrical, which means the same on both sides. So I'm going to look and see how much space I have here. And then I'm going to try to go over like the same amount of space. There. All right, so not perfect, but neither am I. So I'm going to keep going. All right, so I want his chin and jaw to be here. His jawline goes from like this chin that then it comes up a little bit, like this. And then from here, goes up a little bit like this. All right, so there's the bottom of his chin. And then I know I need to leave room for his ears, so I don't want to go up too high. I'm gonna have the top of his head go like right here. So I'm just gonna draw a slightly curved line there like that. And then I know it's gonna come down from here to here, but I want to show that he is fuzzy. So I'm going to draw kind of a zigzag line just to show that there's a little bit of fuzz on his face. So I'm going to just draw a smooth line like this, and then I can just make some little zigzaggy parts and then go back into that line there. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Doesn't have to be exact. There we go. So now he's fuzzy. Next, I'm gonna do his ears. So he has ears, like one is like here and one is here. They're kind of far apart. So I'm gonna do one here to here. So I wanna try to I'm drawing little dots so I can see where I want them to be and how wide. And then I'm gonna go across to see where I'm gonna put my other dot. Because, like I said, I want them to be the same on both sides. It's never going to be perfect, but just want you to see how I measure it out. So I have one here, comes up like that, and then down, kind of like a Hershey kiss. And then one up and down. So now I have his ears, and inside his ears is just that same shape repeated. All right, perfect. So now I have the outside of his head and I have his ears. Next, I'm going to do his eyes. His eyes are there, like there's this about this much space between his eyes. So I'm just going to draw a little dot where I want his eyes to be. So they're about this far apart, I would say, like there. And then I want them to go to, I want them to be really big. So I'm going to go like here, and then this same amount of space from here to like here. And then I'm gonna go up and down and up and down. And then I'm gonna go down like this, like a smile line. There we go. So I have two relatively even eyes. Next, I'm going to do put the lines in his eyes for his iris, which is the colorful part of the eye. And he has really big irises, so I'm going to draw just a little line that almost looks like parentheses, because I want it to be like a circle inside his eye. But I don't have to draw the whole circle because the top is here and the bottom is here. So I'm just going to follow this around like that, and then as if I'm continuing down here and then up like that. And then same thing on the other side. I'm going to try to make it the same. This one looks like it comes more to a point. I'm just going to fix it there. Now it's too much to a point. I'll fix that. And then this one comes down like this. All right, cool. And then his pupils are kind of like a teardrop shape, except they come to a point at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to just start with a little black circle for the pupil. The pupil's the black part of his eye. But then he also, it comes up to a point like this. So that's like a teardrop shape. But then that point comes down on the bottom too of the pupil. So I'm going to do it like that too. I kind of messed up, so I have to widen it. So you should probably use a pencil first so you can erase, but I'm using a Sharpie just so you can see better on the screen, because if I just used a pencil, it'd be hard to see. Next, I'm going to do the nose. So his nose kind of starts like right below where the corners, the inside corners of his eyes are. So I'm just going to draw like a slightly bent upside down smile like that for his nose. It's a little off center, so maybe I'll just add a little bit more over here. All right, that's more centered. And then it comes down like this and like this to a point. And then there's a little line down, just a tiny one. And then his mouth comes up all the way up here, like really close to his eye but not touching. And then I'll stop it like right about there. And I'm going to try to do the same thing on the other side. All right, not symmetrical completely, but not too bad. And then he has like a curve there and a curve here, because his mouth kind of curves at the edges. Then I'm gonna just bring this down a little bit more and this down a little bit more. And then he has these teeth, and they're upside down triangles, but they kind of bend a little bit, like outwards. So I'm gonna draw a curve like that, and then a curve up like that. Same thing over here, curve like that, and then up like that. So they kind of curve outward. And then I'm gonna pick up where this is on the other side of the tooth. There and here. And then this comes smoothly together, but I'm gonna just draw like a curve right here just so I can connect them smoother and more symmetrical. So I'm gonna just connect like that. And then he has a tooth in the middle, like that. And then he has 1, 2, 1, 2. And then on the bottom, his teeth kind of, it's like the bottom ones kind of fit into the top ones like a puzzle. So he's got 1 there, 1 here, and then 1 here, and 1 here. So 1 here, 1 here. All right, his teeth are not perfect. That's okay. And then, let's see. I could do, he has these dots that go up his head as well. So let's do the dots while we're here. He has 3 dots. 1 goes here. 1, 2, and 3. So I could have spaced those out better. They're not perfect, but that's okay. We don't need to be perfect. And then I have, let's see, his stripes. So his stripes are like eyebrows, kind of. And there's 1, 2, 3. So the first one, I'm just gonna go like this, 1, like that. And then they are a little thicker, so like this. 1, and then he has another one like here. 2, 2, and then the third one is kind of like going up his head so you don't see the whole thing, but I didn't mean to fill that in black, but that's okay. I think it actually is going to be black anyway, so maybe right now I'll just fill those in black because I think they do get filled in black anyway. Let's fill in all his eyebrows / stripes. I forgot his whiskers. He has 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I'm gonna put the third one up here. All right, so I put 3 on either side. They're not symmetrical. Not perfect. That's okay again. Let's see, next I'm going to draw his body. So his neck starts like kind of under these 2 teeth. So I'm just gonna draw a little line segment there just to mark where it is. And then his arms come down and are bent, almost like they're going into a heart shape, but I'm gonna stop with some space in the middle. So I'm gonna go like this. 1, 2. All right, now he looks like some kind of owl creature. That's okay. And then I'm gonna go like this and like this for his foot. And then I'm gonna come across and across. Oops, I kind of made that one a little messed up. Just sometimes I just thicken my line to fix it. And then this foot comes up like this, and this one comes up like this. Again, this foot is like not as big. So when you're using a Sharpie, you cannot erase, but you can try to fix it. And then his arm goes like this. And I'm gonna try to make like the same width on both sides. And then like this. All right, so there's his arms. Then I'm gonna draw just a little line here. And he has 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 for his paws. And then I'm gonna draw 1. This is like his back leg, and then it goes like this and meets up. And then I'm gonna go across, down, like this, and meets up. So totally not perfect. again, but that's okay. I can always thicken it to try to make it look like I did that on purpose. All right, cool. And then I'll just add this little line so it looks like he's sitting on the ground. And then he needs a tail, so I can put it anywhere back here. I'm just gonna bring it up like this, and then it gets a little thinner as it goes in. And then the top part of his tail, and then he has one stripe and two stripes, three stripes, four stripes. You can just put as many as you can fit. There we go. Those are his stripes for his tail. And I think also the tip of the tail is black. So since I'm using a Sharpie, I might as well just fill that in. Okay, and then on his back legs, he has one stripe, two stripes, one stripe, two stripes. And then on these arms, he has one, two that goes a little longer, and then three shorter again. So these two are like the same, and the middle one's a little longer. So let's go across. One, two, three. All right, and then he has more of those dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. I'm looking at an image too that is off screen, so that, because I can't just draw this from my head. I have to always be looking at a picture of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess it doesn't really matter how many exactly. Let's just put a couple more. And then maybe one down here, just to balance it out. All right, and then in his nose, he also has like these two little lines. I missed that. And I think that's about it. Inside his mouth, actually, we can put like some lines to show like his tongue. So that'll only matter for when we're coloring. So I want like this part of his mouth to be like reddish or pink for being inside his mouth. And then this part I can just fill in black because it's like just a hole. So while I have my Sharpie out, I might as well just fill that in now. Like that. All right. I think that's it. I also could actually do this, and then maybe show like a toe, depending on how wide you can see your back feet. Maybe yours are bigger than mine. You can actually add more toes. But that is all I'm gonna add for now. I also don't want him to I don't want him to look like he's floating in space. So I always like to add a horizon line. So maybe he is just standing somewhere. So I'm just gonna draw a horizon line, which is where the sky meets the ground. And it's just a horizontal line. And then I always want to sign my work too. So there's my signature. So you draw your signature, don't write mine. And that is it. There's our Derpy drawing.